Alright, everybody. So, yeah, this is not the weirdest game I run. This is Silhouette Mirage. Made by Treasure originally for the Saturn in '97, and then it got ported to PlayStation, and then it got localized to the US and absolutely destroyed. So, timer starts on character control, so I started kind of sitting here right at the last text box. So, time will start in 3, 2, 1, go!
Let's go!
Oops, and I forgot to mute that.
Bam! Bam! Bam!
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a bunch of money, because we need a bunch of money. I mean, it is Kusoge. So, just about everything in the game got rebalanced because the game wasn't stupid difficult. Because working designs like to make the game stupid difficult. So, storyline, there was a system that was supposed to give people magic powers, and it just kind of went nuts and turned everything into either a Silhouette or a Mirage. And we are China Nera China. We have both attributes, and we're going to go find that system and turn it off and put it in reverse. You know, funny you should mention dolls. They actually did make a very, very limited run of plushies of the common Moot characters. This is the other Moot character, the Spectre. We already saw the Polly Peepers. That is not their face, that's a mask. They actually have really horrific screen faces underneath the mask. That's why they wear the mask. Because they're ashamed of how ugly they are. So this is a secret shop. You're not supposed to find this in your first playthrough. And interestingly enough, if we scroll through all these items in this huge shop that shouldn't be so huge, we get a level 6 weapon. Level 6 is the maximum weapon level, so we now have in-game weaponry in the second screen of the game. This is the Sarosa, or Sloth weapon. The weapons are all technically named after the 7 deadly sins, but they're mistranslated to try and keep religious references out of the game. Sarosa is also the least changed from its Japanese counterpart, which more or less means it's the only viable weapon.
Let's get it on, baby!
Because working designs thought that you needed to have an ammo system in this game that was not designed around having an ammo system. So, when you fire your weapon, your spirit gauge, the green bar underneath our health, slowly drains. With this weapon, and with every other weapon, it just kind of careens downward at a ridiculous rate. That was a mini boss. Now we're gonna fight a boss. This is Bug, also known as Moses. He's gonna be a jerk and teleport, waste of time.
Enemy power status critical.
And he's dead.
I did it!
Now we're gonna move on to the second level. Bug is our friend now. There was a cutscene that happened where somebody showed up and they blew up our base where we were created and stored, and basically told Bug, "You're bad at your job, you're fired." And Bug said, "You can't fire me, I quit."
Warning system activated.
And now we're in a stage that is missing background layers and looks kind of ugly compared to the Saturn counterpart, because the PlayStation doesn't really do 2D. It does 3D that is made to look flat. And the Saturn was a 2D system, and it did 2D really well and had a bunch of transparency effects and such that the PlayStation just can't do. Because it was really not designed with 2D in mind. The stage also has an extra load at one point in the second half of the stage, and it would actually have a second extra load. If we were playing the J version, after this next mini-boss, it actually pauses during a cutscene after you beat him
You shall become the
to
rest of my
do what should be a background load. It's doing it right in front of your
Enemy
face.
power status critical.
That was Nardo. He's such an insignificant boss that in the credits they call him Samurai Security, which is the company he works for, not his name. Here we're going to dash into this cutscene, and we did not get the dash glitch. If my spacing and mashing is on point, I can actually be dashing there instead of walking, and it speeds up getting into this cutscene a little bit, and saves like a second, maybe two. That's unfortunate. This is Zohar. Zohar is that guy that blew up our home. And now now they kind of blew up that apartment building. Unfortunately for Zohar, they have a weakness to juggling. And after you take him down to half health, there's technically a cutscene there that we skip where the boss of the area shows up, and Zohar goes, "Oh dear, I'm not dealing with this shit, I'm out." Darn, I picked up health. I don't want to pick up health here, because technically, for pure speed's sake, I should die at some point, because otherwise there's an extra save load scene and some cutscenes with what would otherwise be an extra boss. And this is a speedrun, so we don't want to fight the extra boss.
Reflector!
Now, chicken walkers have a problem. If you knock them over, they take massive damage.
Enemy power status critical.
Now we're gonna fight Goliath. He's strong like ox.
I smash you like tiny puppy!
He does that.
Special delivery! Special delivery must unload!
He's dead. Now we have a bunch of guys in cages. That's weird. There's a giant box. Okay, they've been released. They're running into the box. Our next boss is a giant snub-nosed revolver. So we don't want to have to deal with as little RNG as possible. So we're going to kill the blue guys so that we don't have to worry about it
Reflector!
spinning around the barrel, because if the barrel gets full, it'll spin it around and then stuff's random. Otherwise, it's in the order they go in. That shot was a dud, unfortunately.
Reflector!
This is not great RNG. Ideally, it would already be dead.
Enemy power status critical.
3 cycles isn't bad. Hopefully this is 3 cycles.
Reflector!
It could potentially go to 4. That would suck. Okay. Now we're gonna come over here to the left. And if there was any doubt at all that this game was made in Japan or anime, it's about to end. Because here's the boss that scared Zohar off. Is Dynamis. Giant cat girl flying fish, which is also a tentacle monster. She wants to play with us. She would really like it if we bought her flowers. Smash, smash, smash. Delete. And her leg occasionally itches. I'm not sure where her leg is. So diving like that costs us time, but the good news is we need to die, and if we position right, it does a lot of damage. So even though we're losing time, we're also gaining time by taking damage. Oh boy.
Enemy power status critical.
Oh, dang it, she's gonna dive again? That's good for my health. This is less good.
Caution, power status critical.
Come on. Wow. You're just all about the dives today. Get the death in early. Come on, thank you.
I like flowers very much.
Yeah, I mean, and that is fairly typically how that boss goes. That boss can be done in like 10 to 15 seconds. If she just keeps spawning tentacles for us to shoot. Here's a shadowy figure. He's mysterious. He has no importance whatsoever. If you believe any of that, you're a fool. I mean, look, he has art. The art in the save screens is taken from the anime intro.
Remember, I'll on your trail now.
And it was also added in. It's one of the few good changes that Working Designs did for the US version. Was instead of these really bland blank save load screens, you get art. You get stills from the opening cutscene. Because the company that published this game, ESP, did a lot of just kind of any product that they had, they just kind of throw it at every media and see what stuck. So there was the beginnings of a manga, and there were plushies.
Power
And
status
at one point, there were vague talks of possible anime, given that they already had an opening. This game did really well in Japan, especially on the Saturn. And then it came to the States and did nothing because they rebalanced the game and made it stupidly difficult. Run away from this wheel. Jump up here.
Caution, power status critical.
Right over here. I'm going to turn around so we don't scare this guy off. This is what I like to call the Dynamite Heady reference fight. Dynamite Heady, this game, and one of Treasure's other games all share a character design lead. This guy kind of looks like Heady. Unfortunately, he's going to give me health, which I didn't want. And then he transforms into a werewolf that looks an awful lot like Dynamite Heady's spike head.
My blood is boiling!
Unfortunately, his AI does not recover very well from being thrown to the right.
You're too good!
And he wasn't really a werewolf, it was all fake. Reminder that Dynamite Heady was also all one giant stage play.
Let's go!
Now we're gonna fight a bug. A fairy bug thing. No, we're actually feeding the fairy bug to his real body, which is a giant.
Yo! That hurts! You'll never win!
Where are you? What? Why don't you go over to the left?
power status.
And it's dead.
Oh, no!
That was a fairly reasonable fight.
I did it!
The only reason doing this fight is because it took our warp portal. So Bug couldn't help us warp to the next area. So that's that level beaten. We're now in the warp zone to the next level. Except that level's not over. Zohar has interrupted our warp. Because they're a jerk.
I wonder how many seconds you'll last this time.
Reflector! Reflector! Top tower punch! Tower punch! Top tower!
Fortunately, Zohar is still weak to juggles.
Top tower punch! Top tower punch!
It's sometimes hard to get the juggle started, but once it's started, it's kind of all over for Zohar. They don't care, they're just going to collapse this dimension so that we die. Because if the dimension collapses, so do we. They're going to attempt to commit death by math. Fortunately, Bug is a bro and he will save us. Because while Bug will not fight Zohar because he would get absolutely destroyed by Zohar, he has no problem saving us once Zohar leaves.
Keep an eye out for those guardian angels. Yes.
Now we're in a cute little town. It's kind of interesting, except in a cutscene we got hit by a limousine. And the chauffeur has been ordered to see what's on the car and get it off. Unfortunately, he's bad at his job, and that's just cost his boss another limousine. But he's still going to destroy us. So we're going to fight while riding in a car. Which doesn't tend to go very well if the driver just, you know, slams on his brake. Oh, well, fun.
Watch where you're driving, idiot! Idiot!
Do this a couple more times. Let's drive through this seaside town.
Enemy power status critical.
We might get stuck at 50 HP on the boss here for a little bit because we have to wait for the background to cycle around to a certain point, because this section, this phase has a sub-phase. Yeah, now we have to drop down, now drop below 50 HP, and we really wrecked that car. Bad news, this was all a ploy to get us to the TV station. Now, how are we going to get to the TV station with an awesome action crash? Now, hopefully, this next screen doesn't soft lock. It's a thing that can happen. It doesn't happen very often on the US version, but it can happen. That's part of why I kind of hesitate there. Make sure that all these guys get on screen. Because if you start shooting too quickly, you can knock them out of bounds, and then they won't get back in bounds, and you can't kill them. And if you can't kill them, then the game can't progress. Now we've been dropped back down to the basement of the TV studio.
Surprise!
I'm gonna fight Faust. Faust has a lot of really cool looking attacks, which hopefully we won't see any of. That's actually really good. Oh, come on, fire again, fire again, fire again. No, you jerk! What we really want is for him to use that attack on the middle level, because from the middle level we can shoot him from below and get hit by that. And it will just instantly kill us while we're instantly killing him.
Let's make this a good one.
Now we're gonna fight Sarah. That is not Sarah. That is Sarah.
Let's make this a good one. Reflector! 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 A big loser! Let's make
Probably
this a
take
good
about
one.
3 dances.
Reflector! Reflector!
You can do it in 2 if you're really, really lucky with
Big
hits.
loser! Let's make this a good one.
That sucks.
Reflector! 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 A big loser! Let's make this a good one. Reflector! 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 A big winner!
That health's still going to be there when I get when the stage ends, so I'll probably end up collecting it.
Thanks for
Nope, it disappeared. Good.
loser!
So, now we're going to go fight a boss. This boss can make me lose as much time as it feels like making me lose, because we're now in RNG hell.
Critical.
So we're back to dealing with Delia, who has a TV show called Stock Sniffers, where he sniffs soup. So our job here is to make the soup smell bad by punching enemies in it. And hopefully he sniffs it a lot, but if he doesn't want to sniff, he doesn't have to sniff. It's his TV show, he makes the rules, and he decides how long we're going to be here.
Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. More. Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. More. It needs a little salt. More.
Add salt, that takes it to neutral. He will also take it to neutral by adding salt every time he takes damage.
Oh dear Lord, that's
And he can sniff and not take damage if it decides not to spawn any bubbles, which it has every choice to do.
dear Lord, that's terrible. More. Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. Oh dear Lord, that's terrible.
Enemy power set.
Oh dear Lord, that's terrible.
Not a whole lot to say here, unfortunately.
Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. It needs a little salt. Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. More. Oh dear Lord, that's terrible. I underestimated the power of soup.
I did it!
Caution, power status critical.
I'm gonna skip a cutscene there, which is just the soup exploding out of the building in a giant tidal wave of horrible soup.
Do your best. I'll see you again soon.
That's one more teleport for us. Kind of tells us in that cutscene that this is as far as I go. It's as close as I'm gonna
Caution,
get
power
you.
status critical.
And now we have this thing. This is Prinsdam. For some odd reason, the Japanese version, if you go left, his head only has one text box. And in the US version, if you go right, his head has only one text box.
Little dudette.
And because this is the PlayStation version, when it eats us, its mouth will not open.
Sorry about this. Nothing personal.
The Saturn, that little circle with the X in it opens up, so he's actually eating us.
Caution, power status critical.
We're gonna fight Bow Spider.
Reflector! Reflector!
Enemy power status critical.
Gonna give us a really quick pattern. That was good. And now we're gonna fight another RNG boss. This boss is neutral, which means we have to reflect attacks back at it. And guess exactly how that goes, because it decides when it feels like attacking. Its minions decide when they feel like attacking, and if nothing wants to attack, not too bad.
Damage. Red ram. Attribute wave.
Also do that and make himself vulnerable, right before he takes damage.
Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram. Red ram. Damage. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram. Red ram.
Reflector!
But all these attacks nowhere near.
Red ram.
Reflector! Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
So we have spacing. He will stay in this loop for a little
Red
bit.
ram. Red ram. Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
Oh boy.
Reflector!
Red
Of
ram.
course all the grenades, fall
Red ram.
a mile and a half away.
Red ram.
Why wouldn't they?
Red ram. Red ram.
Reflector!
Attribute wave.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
Enemy
Red
power
ram.
status critical.
Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector! Reflector! Reflector!
Red ram. Red ram.
Reflector!
Red ram.
Reflector!
Damage. Power depleted. Initiate self-destruct mode.
Caution, power status critical.
So the good news is him blowing up gave us a hole to escape from Prinsdam. The bad news is that shadowy figure from earlier is here to fight. His name is
Time to
Megadol.
test your metal. Watch this! Watch this! Burning arrow!
Reflector!
Watch this! Burning arrow!
Reflector!
Oh yeah,
Watch
need to actually do some
this!
damage to me. That'll do. Thank you. There, now I've died.
Messenger program initialized.
I don't have to worry about that extra save load.
Watch this! Burning arrow! Watch this!
Reflector!
Oh, you are good.
He's decided that we might actually be a threat, so he's gonna leave. But not before destroying Prince Dam. Because he can just one-shot the boss. The good news is we don't have to fight Prince Dam. Bad news is we're falling. Good news is we've fallen into this facility where the Edo system is stored.
Reflector! Reflector! Reflector!
The good news is that ledge is still there, so we're just gonna, you know, knock these walkers right off of it. This wall over here is also there. You could just knock them off of it. So you don't have to actually fight them and worry about them giving you good reflectable attacks. Since they are a neutral element. Now we're going to crouch tackle underneath this debris. You cannot dash fast enough to get under that debris and you will just take damage. So this is the US PlayStation version. The best version of the game is on the Sega Saturn, but it was only released in Japan. When it was released on the PlayStation, when it was ported to PlayStation, both in Japan and in the US, it got a couple new bosses added to it because PlayStation, Sony at the time, had a policy that mostly still stands today, which is if you want licensing to put your game on our system as a port, you're going to have exclusive content. So what they did was they took a couple of bosses that got scrapped from the original game and finished them and added them in. So this is Gargantuan. It's a giant compactor.
Reflector! Reflector!
And we are eventually going to defeat it by feeding it things.
Reflector!
Unfortunately, it has decided to sit here and not eat. It's apparently not very hungry. Come on, it's 10 till 9 in the morning. It's breakfast time. You should be really hungry. I wish I could say that was the longest I've seen, but it is not. It's the really unfortunate part about this boss is it can give you a really good pattern, then just decide, I'm gonna sit here and not eat.
Reflector! 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 Reflector!
Well, I have begun to suspect it may have something to do with it having an attack on screen. Takes 30 damage from every enemy it eats. At 3 enemies, it will crush. You can feed it up to 4 enemies.
Enemy power status critical.
It has 300 health, that means 10 enemies total. We fed it 8, so we're gonna have to feed in 1 extra enemy, which kinda sucks, but it shouldn't be a huge time loss. We actually probably lost more time from it deciding to just sit there and randomly not eat than we did from having to feed it 1 extra enemy. So it's just gonna go immediately for that polypeeper.
Reflector!
because it took its dear sweet time swallowing on the right, it's actually fairly quick. And Zohar's back. Bad news! The core of the facility has been set to self-destruct. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So now we're just gonna, juggle Zohar as we do.
Enemy power
You don't have to win this fight. You can lose, but you fight a different penultimate boss, and it's really slow, and waiting for 2 minutes is also really slow. So now, because Zohar was bad at their job, they're getting a promotion. Their power's being unlocked.
You shall not prevail.
And they're gonna fight us. This is their true form with their power unlocked. They're kind of crazy. Unfortunately, they are dodging around all over the place. This boss has some really good background music that unfortunately we're not going to hear a lot of because we're doing a lot of damage to the boss really quickly. And we're also getting some critical hit with flinch hits in.
Enemy power
Makes him grunt. It's low on spirit, that's actually pretty okay. Wow. About dodging here. I'm actually... Oh boy! I was in really good shape. Still in decent shape. My spirit's a little bit. Fortunately, they're still not as strong as Shina. And they died to math. The good news, Bug has realized just how strong we are, and he's going to bring us a shop. Bad news, we don't need that shop. Because we already have the best weapon in the game. We have had since the second screen of the game. So we're going to go fight a final boss. Unfortunately for the world, this is the speed run. So we're not going to fix the world. We like it the way it is. We're going to leave it the way it is. Screw you. I mashed a little too hard there.
You're of no use to me now.
Says, well, you killed my brother, you killed all the threats to my reign. I'm gonna kill you and take over.
Burning arrow! Watch this!
Actually, Megiddo killed it.
Burning
We didn't know we were setting it up, but, we did.
Watch this!
kinda like to die. There really isn't much of a penalty for dying, and we get our spirit. I don't want our spirit for phase 2. Surprise, there's a phase 2 to this boss. Do not want to take those risks to face. So the problem is, he and his brother were once one being, and without his brother, now he's dying. Kind of in a Kami Piccolo situation. And he's going to give us the perfect pattern. We're just going to parasite him.
Enemy power status critical.
No, it wasn't the perfect pattern. Explosive.
Shield status critical.
And he's dead. And that's the game. Time was on the final hit. And we get the bad ending. I mean, the Japanese version is a lot more fun. This version is okay. I mean, that works. Yeah, this is the music for the ending. We don't have time for endings. We have one more thing we're going to show off. So, working designs. They added playable credits. We get to play as Zohar. Instead of watching these enemies come on and just kind of march towards the screen and do a little dance, we also get an English localization of the ending song that is sung over top of the karaoke version of the Japanese version that was on the original game CD. Polly Peeper is really interesting. We're going to do the dance of our people for her, try to woo her. Make some reflectors because we can, some reflectors that don't work right. Because they're looking for China to bounce a shot at, and China doesn't exist. It's a Treasure game, so Treasure had this deal where they just kind of thought up ideas and then figured out how to make them work in a game, and sometimes it worked out. Now, eventually this Polly Peeper's gonna get mad and leave. The Spectres are gonna spawn. The unfortunate news for this is that you throw the Spectre in the corner, and you can go back and watch. It's there's a secret shop on the second screen of the game, and level 6 Rosa is only 300 coins. It's 900 in the original Japanese game. So now there's a problem. We have a homing jump. And that homing jump homes onto the nearest enemy. The nearest enemy is that Polly Peeper that left earlier. And she's getting progressively further and further off screen because they didn't remove her from memory. So if we keep using this homing jump, that's going to be a problem. Because it's going to keep stretching itself out to try and jump on her. Meanwhile, she's still walking. She's, you know, somewhere next door at this point. And I have now removed Zohar from the game. I glitched Zohar so far out of bounds that it couldn't zip Zohar back in bounds. And the credits are no longer interactive. And, you know, Pepsi Man is a guy. He had a game earlier in the marathon. Unfortunately, I have a bad relationship with Pepsi Man. Because look, he's in the special thanks along with Bruce Lee and Mountain Dew, but I blame Pepsi Man for all bad RNG.
Thanks for playing.
So thanks everybody for watching the run. There'll be a VOD of it for the one of you that wanted to see the level 6 weapon.
Mirage.
And next up will be, looks like Alone in the Dark. So I'm going to get out of here and let them take over.
So, not quite Alone in the Dark, but rather Octopath Traveler. So, thank you very much, Chaos, for that Silhouette Mirage run and the soup. So, we're going to take just a couple moments to set that up, and we'll be right back.